Hey, hey, hey there, my Tyler Perry Sisters fans. It's your girl Barbie J here, and we are talking about Tyler Perry Sisters Season 4, Episode 16, Look Closely. Now, I don't know what that meant. Who had to look closely? Basically, it's probably what Andy said to Fuego to look closely and make sure, because this wasn't the episode when we catching Gary with the telescope, so it can't be him looking closely because that wasn't in this episode. Also, what was missing from this episode that we thought we were supposed to see is what in the hairy heck happened to that scene with them walking in on Karen making out. What happened to that? I don't get it. I guess it's going to be the beginning of next week. I'm confused how they show scenes and then they're not shown in the episode. Anyhow, before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the comment button, and share the video. That's it. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl Barbie J asking you to help her channel grow. Anyhow, let's see. How'd this start off? It starts off with Sabrina in the supermarket with Danny and the two African women, and they asking if she going to marry the prince, and she's like, oh well, we just met, and what's his name, Bio or something like that, and she said, we hope you do, you are beautiful, oh, we want to take a picture with you and all this stuff. And then they ask Danny, do you mind? Because they like, she ain't getting in the picture, and Danny's like, oh, of course. And she tells Sabrina, smile like a princess or something like that, because Sabrina's like, I don't know what's going on here. Ooh, she feeling like she's out of place. She not comfortable with whatever's going down, it seems to me. So anyway, they taking a picture and they throwing up peace signs and smiling and stuff. I was surprised one of them didn't get on the other side, and then Sabrina be in the middle looking crazy and stuff. But anyway, so Danny decides she gonna look him up. She looks him up and shows Sabrina that it's really him, and she's like shocked. Sabrina snatches the phone and like, what? And she admits finally, because Danny's like, you didn't look him up? Everybody looks up the people they meet. And she's like, no. But then she admits she did look him up, but it didn't never said anything about him being a prince. So then Sabrina asked Danny not to tell the girls, they was on their way to, but she's like, tell the girls, y'all not going to see, y'all going to Andy's house. That's one girl. But I guess she don't want her to bring it up anyway. You know how Sabrina is. So she's like, well, don't you want to gloat about it? And she's like, no, because she don't know how she feel, and I understand that. Let's not mention it. Anyway, that's not why you're going over there. You know what I mean? But that's some petty stuff Danny would do, as we all know. Anyhow, then they showed up the jail, and they won't allow Fatima to see Zach until morning, and she's like anxious. She wants him to get out tonight. She don't want him to be in there, and what's she gonna do it? And Andy's like, okay, Bonnie, chill. And she's like, Bonnie, she said, yeah, you acting like you want to break him up out of here tonight. And she was like, no, I just don't. I feel like this is all my fault, and I don't want him to have to be there. Please, can you call Robin? Did you hear from him? Can you call him? And she's like, okay. She calls Robin, and he basically says the same thing. It's going to be a little difficult, and he won't, be able to do anything till the morning. Bam. So then they asked, when we asked could he see her tonight, he asked her, he's like, can I see you tonight? And this is Robin asking Andy, and she kind of was like, I'd love to, but I can't, and I will explain later. So Fatima wants to wait at the precinct to see Zach. She gonna stay there overnight. Andy's like, for what? Like, what you gonna do? So she insists that she goes home and get some rest, and that she will have to have the work phone, messenger to her house, because she said, I need to stop by the office. She said, you can't do that because Hayden is there. You want to go back to prison? She said, you're right about that, so she didn't want her to have to run into him at the office. That would have been dangerous. Then we have Maurice. He shows up at the Proud Bar and sees Calvin up in there drunk and everything. And he said, he pissed at him. He kind of pissed at Calvin for what he did. But honestly, y'all tell me, Maurice's apartment. Maurice could say, put his foot down and say, no, he can't stay here. Since when you let Calvin run anything, you always letting Calvin know that's your apartment. So why not? So anyway, so he's pissed at him about saying Q could stay, and Maurice asks him why he at a gay bar anyways. Why you at a gay bar? They at the Proud Bar, I think it's called. So I forgot who's the bar friend. I forgot the guy's name. He came over there, and Calvin is telling him everything that's going on. I mean, not Calvin. I'm sorry. Maurice is telling his friend everything that's going on, and that Q is at this house, and what Calvin did, and what Q did by giving his address as his home, and he told all that stuff, and it was just ridiculous. Anyway, they could have left that scene out if you ask me, but they kept it in. Then there's Karen and Aaron. They on the couch, and he said he's writing down his thoughts because she was like, why you keep looking at me? What's that all about? And he said, I'm just writing down my thoughts, and he was sketching and stuff, and he was drawing. She's like, well, let me see what you're doing. And he showed her. She said, is that supposed to be me? Because it don't look like me. I was like, it kind of looked like her to me. I don't know why, but it sort of kind of looked like her. So she said it doesn't look like her. And he said, look closer, it's you when you get older and stuff. And she's acting like she can't see. And then she told him to read something to her. And he said, no, you read it. And he said, and she was reading it. And as she read it, her eyes was tearing up and her voice was cracking. And he was saying how he expresses himself when he feels he can't talk. And so Karen's crying as she reads it, and she asks him to make love to her, please. And she climbs on top of him, takes off her robe, and they start kissing and doing the do, I guess. But like I said, I thought this was the episode when the girls were supposed to walk in, but I guess not. Anyway, then they go to Fuego. Fuego shows up at Andy's house to do the full sweep. Fuego, I think he good looking. That's a good looking man. I don't like the tattoo on his face and stuff, but besides that, I'm like, all right now, come on, Fuego. Oh, what's his makeup? Because I don't know if he's full black. He looked like he might be mixed with something. He a good looking brother. Anyway, let me not go off track. Getting all horny up in here or something. I don't know. Stick to the line. Stick to what we're talking about here, Barbie J. Okay, so she asked him to do a full sweep of the, bugs and Karens and stuff. And she looking at him, and, he's like, why are you looking at me like that? And she said, I'm just impressed. He was like, because he was being real professional. And he was like, what? He just basically, says the same thing all the time. What he said to her on the phone about that this is his business and stuff. So anyway, he compliments her about the apartment and says she's killing it. And she's like, I do all right. I'm sitting there going, girl, you ain't buy that damn apartment. You don't do that all right. You do all right, but not that all right. So then the doorman calls, and she says to let them up. And when he finds out that Danny's coming up, and he says, damn, she treats me like ish. And Andy's like, well, what did you do to her? And he's like, I ain't do nothing. She said, then the only thing I have to think of is and admit that Danny sure does that to guys she likes. She treats them that way because she don't know how to tell them she like them, whatever. And it's so funny because Zach said something similar, I think. So anyway, they come up, and Sabrina hugs Fuego, whereas Danny barely even speaks to him, and she act kind of shady and funny towards him, And Sabrina asks him why is he there. Why are you asking him why he's at Andy's house? That was so stupid. No, you ask Andy. It's her apartment. So he's looking at her like, ask Andy. The hell you asking me for? So she tells them why. And Sabrina's wondering, then why is he stripping if he knows how to do this and stuff? Because Danny was sitting there going, oh, I think she felt like she was being shady about him he got a little business. She told her a little business. Girl, please, you don't. And that's the way she said it. And it just felt like she was hating on him to me. But then Sabrina talking about, then why is he doing this? No judgment. And, and Andy was like, it sounds like a lot of judgment to me. But Andy repeated what he said, told him that no one was hiring at the college, so he did what he had to do to survive. And I ain't mad at him for that. So then Andy said, now can we talk about Karen? Because they so busy focused on Fuego. And Sabrina said that she called the salon, and Pam had said that Karen's been going on most of the day and stuff, and that she left with Aaron. I said she didn't leave with Aaron. because she left that morning with him, but Pam wasn't there. And so that's not true, because she came back, right, y'all? She came back and she fussed at Pam about being nosy and stuff and snapping, she snapped all over her and about her clients being waiting and stuff. And then she went to Andy's job. So Danny told, what went down at her apartment with Karen. And then both Danny and Andy said Zach's house was really nice. It was like off the chain and stuff, and that Karen won't be happy about that. And so they asked each other, have they heard from her? And when they asked Andy said no. She went and checked her phone and everything, said she hadn't heard from her that day. And I'm sitting there going, did Karen tell her to say she wasn't there, that she didn't see them or something? Did Karen tell her to keep it a secret, her visit to her? Because Andy's lying. She came to her job. Zach had to fight at the job. I'm surprised Andy didn't tell that. They tell all of Zach's business. I'm very, very, very surprised. Aren't y'all surprised? Put it down in the comment section. I know y'all, we all surprised that she didn't tell Zach's business. So again, they don't think Karen would be happy to know how nice Zach's house is. So Sabrina's thinking maybe we should remind her about all STDs he gave and all this stuff. And Andy's like, no, I don't think we should be saying that. She said, but maybe it'll help to remind him about all the bad things he's done. And then that's when Danny, I don't know what she's doing. She said, I tried it and tried it and it didn't work. And then she turned on Andy saying, remember all the bad things Gary did? I'm like, Danny, really? We're talking about Karen right now, trying to get that focus. And that's the same thing. She said, Andy said, we're here to talk about Karen right now. Hello. So then Danny started with and how do you know, Fuego not back there putting cameras up right now and stuff. I was like, what? She turned on him now. What is she talking about? I'm not liking how Danny is behaving. Y'all let me know how y'all feel, but this is so ridiculous and out of place. Anyway, so Andy goes to check on him while Sabrina and Danny decide they need to roll up on Karen and not call because she won't answer. And so Fuego finishes and his search and he finds nothing. He also refused, she asked, how much do I owe you? He refused to charge Andy and said it's free. So as he says goodbye to all the ladies and he's walking to the elevator, Danny gets up and said, let me holler at you for a minute. And she told about being stressed and making sure they good now. And I said, she ain't been no stress lately. What the hell she talking about? So it's like, maybe she said, maybe you can check out. This was funny. She said, maybe you could take me out to dinner, right? Didn't she say that to him? Maybe you could take me out to dinner and we could talk. He pressing that button saying, no. Maybe you could cook me a good home cooked meal and then we can discuss something. I said, oh. And I was like, oh. And she kind of tried to pick up her face and I don't know what she said, but she turned around. I don't know if that was a okay. I don't know. But anyway, so as they leaving to try to go to Karen's, Andy runs back to get her shoes and she quickly calls Robin to cancel on him because she said she had to go see her girl. She hasn't been doing well. And, he wants her to come to the hotel and he don't mind waiting up. But then she says, you know what? Why not you come to my place? And he agrees, cool. And she said, I'll have the doorman let you up. I said, girl, please, whatever, doorman, whoever. So Robin's still in the office and he stops by Hayden's office to talk. And he tells him he heard what happened in the office with Fatima and her boyfriend. And he wanted to know if Hayden was okay. And he said, yeah, that bitch is crazy. She gone now. Robin asked, I said, what? That bitch is gone. Robin asked, what did Fatima do? And he said, I'm sure she will. He said, I was sure she was all over you. That's what Robin was saying. He said, a good looking brother like you and all that stuff. And Hayden's like going like, yeah, man, you already know, pumping himself up. I was like, oh my God, he's so funny. So he tells him these bitches in Atlanta be wilding out and stuff and that they only date, that he only dates white girls. Now I said, oh my goodness, we ain't seen that yet. Has anybody seen that? Because I ain't seen that yet. So Robin is still like, so what happened? And Hayden proceeds to tell about her and that about Fatima and with the bat and smashing up his stuff in his house and his car. And Robin is like, but why would she do that? He said, yo, she jealous, bro. And Robin said, is she now? And he's like, yeah, he started formulating this huge fabricated lie in his mind about Fatima. And he had it come out of his mouth telling him that he told her that he don't want her like that no more, and she just wouldn't stop because now he has moved on with a white girl, and she's like acting all jealous. And Robin's like tells him there was something about him harassing her boyfriend. Is that true? And he said, what? Who told you that, Andy? He said, nah, it's just some water cooler talk. I said, that's a water cooler talk. Ain't nobody supposed to know about that. How anybody know about that? Anyway, but y'all know how gossip spread around the office. Anyway, so she messing around with some ex-con now, he said. And Robin asked, did the boss know? And he said, that they have a fraternization, right? No fraternization policy. And he said, Robin said, oh yeah, that's right. And so it's good that you don't work here, he told Hayden said to him. And Robin said, why? Because he's working between here and London. And he's like, why? He said, because. He said, I know you hitting Andy. You hitting that. And he's like, why would you think that? He said, the way y'all talking together all the time and huddled and stuff. He said, come on, you could tell me. Robin would start smiling. I said, oh, Lord, that was so funny. And he shakes his head and said, no, we're not. He said, I'm gay. Hayden was like, what? He said, you're actually more my speed. I told y'all I was going to love it if he hit on him. Oh, my God. He said, you're more my speed. He said, yo, I don't get down like that, bro. I was dying in here. He reaches over the desk for Hayden's hand, and Hayden pulls his hand back, and Robin says how he loves Andy's shoes and stuff. A gay men love women's shoes. I was dying. Then he tells Hayden he's going to get out of there now, you have the best night. And he got the eyes open looking at him, but then keeps staring at him, smiling. And Hayden is like, okay, like, yo, you can leave now. And he's still looking. He said, but you're still sitting there, right? He said, yo, I'm not interested, bro. He said, gotcha. He said, but something tells me that you might be. Sorry, y'all, I was laughing. And you stay away from those crazy ass chicks. You hear that? He left. I was rolling. So now Fatima's home and she gets a collect call from an inmate in the Fulton County Detention Center. It was Zach, and she's sorry. And he said, I'm glad you're out. And Zach actually kept calling Fatima's phone until he answered. That's how he found out. And I said, oh, that's so sweet. He kept calling her phone, collect probably every hour on the hour. Who knows? That's what love would do that to you, won't it? Anyway, so they do some small talk about I shouldn't have done that. And they both are being supportive of each other's actions. And he said he wants her to stop tripping and leave that negativity alone. That he gonna to go read some self-help book or something and be good. And she smiles and said she don't need that to tell him that she loves him. And he said, I love you too, baby. I said, oh, my eyes teared up. This so sweet. So he told her to stop with all that, sad shit. And we gonna get through this. And I'm gonna make bail. Don't worry, I'm gonna make bail. And when I get out, we gonna move into our house. And she said, your house. And he said, our house. She said, the last I checked, there was no ring on this finger. And he said, oh, it will be soon, don't worry, because I got you. And she's smiling. And so he said, I feel like I got you. No, she said, I feel like I got you into this. And he said, I made the decision to F him up, so stop apologizing. She said, he said, you did the same thing for me. He said, you always go for me, so I had to go for you, So he asked her to, to keep talking to him and what's she cooking. She's like, she can't eat. He said, well, pretend it and, talk about anything, to make him feel like he's there. So she started naming some foods that she cooking, fried chicken and kale and all that stuff. So then the announcement came on the phone, your time is up, and he had to hang up. So that was sweet. Then it ended with Calvin comes home drunk and he sits on the couch with Q and he tells him about Sabrina and how she thinks he is gay. And Q says, I get it. And Calvin's like, how do you get it? You're gay. And Q says, he isn't. No, I'm not. that he just does that because he has to do what does he say? Something about what he does what he has to do for money. That's what he does. And so he admits, he do it to women as well, So, oh, then you're bisexual. That's what Calvin said, all drunk and stuff. And he said, no, I'm not that. He said, I'm cash sexual. I said, I hear that. He done made up something. Cash sexual. And Calvin is laughing like, okay. So he shared some more about the vibrator he found at Sabrina's and told her to use it on him. And Q was like, whoa. And he said, I have a do not enter sign back there and stuff. And Calvin's like, told him he don't know what he's missing and all this stuff. So Calvin says he's going to take his butt to bed. And he said, you should take your butt to bed too. Then he said, oh, wait a minute. You better take your butt to couch. I thought that was funny. Take your butt to couch. And then as Calvin is about to get up, Q grabs his wrist and asks him if he wants him to show him. And he was like, show me what? Like, what are you talking about? And Q said how it feels. And Calvin paused to think about it. Wow. And that's how it ended, y'all. I was like, oh, MG. Look at here, y'all. So we gonna see, because one of those episodes say, like, Calvin and Q supposed to get into something, I think, or something. I don't know. But anyway, y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all was thinking, how y'all felt about this episode. It was all right. It wasn't great, but it was all right. I wanted to see them walk in on Karen, and that didn't happen. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. This your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.